Send this to your bestie right now because your next craft night is officially sorted. I'm showing you how to make 3 cute DIY charm sets with polymer clay that are easy to do over snacks and music. We're making milk and cookies, peas in a pod, and PB&J sandwiches, but you can personalize yours how you want. These are the materials I'll be using: polymer clay, clay sculpting tools, eye pins, and optionally acrylic paint and craft glaze. You can find some of these materials in the video description as well. Now you can just make all of these as simple little clay buddies, but the secret sauce to turning a polymer clay piece into a charm is an eye pin. There are 2 common types: eye pins that have a long needle-like body and eye pins that have a screw. You can use either one, but in my personal experience, eye pins with a screw tend to work better with polymer clay because they're more secure and less likely to slip out after you bake your clay. You'll also want a type of clasp, like a keychain clasp. For us, we're using simple, small phone chain straps. For milk and cookies, you'll need clay in these colors. Starting with the cookie, you just need a ball of light brown colored clay. Flatten it so that it becomes a coin-like shape. For tips on how to make common clay shapes, check out my must-know shapes for beginners video. With a needle-like tool, gently poke the surface as many times as you can all over. The effect is best when you use a variety of pressure to create different hole sizes. Now, smooth it or tap it gently with your finger so that the holes are less defined for a more natural look. I always add smiley faces to most of what I make, so you don't have to do this part, but if you want it to be extra cute, roll 2 tiny black dots for the eyes. Roll a very, very thin cylinder or tube-like shape for the mouth. If you find this part challenging, you can always draw or paint on the face at a later stage after baking. For the blush, roll 2 small balls of light pink clay and place them on the cheeks. With darker brown clay, roll a variety of very small balls that will be the chocolate chips. These should not be perfect spheres because in real life, chocolate chips are not perfectly round on a cookie. And there we have our cookie. For the milk carton, shape white clay into a cube, but elongate it so that it becomes a taller rectangular prism. Choose one end to be the top, where we will flatten it on 2 sides so that it looks like a roof or gable. It's okay if it takes a while to perfect the shape. It took me quite a long time to get it to this point. Once we have a triangular roof, pinch out the top just a little bit with your fingers to create that top lip and straighten it as best as you can. This part is completely optional. Your milk carton will still look like a milk carton as is, but for extra dimension, I carved out a triangle on each side of the roof or gable to represent the folds at the top of a milk carton. Repeat the steps for the face as you did for the cookie. For the cap, roll a small ball of white clay and flatten it into a coin shape, but not too flat. We want to roll on the edge of the coin so that it has that bottle cap shape. For a bit of texture, use your straight edge tool to create lines all around the edge of the coin. Then, add the coin to the top of the milk carton. Carefully insert the eye pin at the top of each piece. Bake your charms at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. If your eye pin is metal, it's okay to leave it in the piece while baking. The temperature is not high enough to melt it. After your charms bake and cool, you can paint details like colors on the milk carton. Glazing is also optional. Attach your charm clasp and you're done with this pair. For peas in a pod, you'll need these colors. We'll start with the charm that has the pod. Flatten green clay into an oval shape. At the top and bottom of the oval, pinch it together so that it creates a little hammock. I also pushed it inward a little bit on each side so that it eventually creates 2 pockets that each pea can fit into. For the peas, roll 2 lighter green balls of clay and make sure that they both fit inside the pod you just created. Take one out and leave the other inside. Now, this is the fun part that you can personalize, the facial expressions on the peas. You can use black clay to make the faces like I do, or you can draw or paint them on later after baking. Reference the milk and cookie section if you want to see slightly more broken down steps of how I made my faces. Carefully insert the eye pin at the top of each P. Bake your charms at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. After your charms bake and cool, attach your charm clasp, and you have peas in a pod. For our PB&J charms, you'll need the following. Out of these 3 friendship charm projects, the PB&J sandwich is the most advanced simply because it requires additional materials to have really convincing textures, liquid clay and pigment powder, which I'll explain further in just a moment. To start, roll and flatten a small piece of pale yellow or pale beige clay into a round coin shape that is however big you want the bread slices to be. Flatten 3 sides of the coin so that you have a rectangle with one rounded edge, the top of your bread. Different slices of toast will come in different shapes, so you can create indentations in the slice of bread so that the overall shape is what you're used to. Just like the cookie from before, use a needle-like tool to gently poke the surface as many times as you can. The effect is best when you use a variety of pressure to create different hole sizes. Now smooth it or tap it gently with your fingers so that the holes are still there but less defined for a more natural look. For the spread of peanut butter, mix the light brown or peanut-colored clay with some liquid clay. This softens it and gives it a texture that's similar to real peanut butter. Use a palette knife or your straight-edge tool, or even an actual butter knife to spread this mixture onto one of the bread slices. For the jelly, some people like strawberry jelly, and if you're like me, you like grape jelly, so you can pick the color for this one. Mix some liquid clay with pigment powder in the jelly color of your choice. A common way to get pigment powder is through chalk pastels. You can use your needle tool or an X-Acto blade to carefully scrape the pigment of the chalk pastel. Once you've mixed the jelly, spread it onto the other slice of bread. Carefully insert the eye pin at the top of each bread slice. Bake your charms at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes. After your charms bake and cool, you can go the extra mile and color the crust of the bread along the edges with acrylic paint. Attach your charm clasp and you have PB&J sandwich charms. I'm so curious about which one of these is your favorite and which one you want to do with a friend or loved one. Let me know in the comments below. I also have a link in the description to some tools that might be helpful to your projects if you're not sure where to start. I can't wait to see what you create. Till next time!